continue the lesson, and thanks to the Anti-Defamation League, in coordination with the Shoah Foundation, they put together this great lesson, which is on the website at the Shoah Foundation. It's called The Pyramid of Hate, and it shows how events proceed to bring about genocide. First, we have prejudiced attitudes, if you can't see in the back. Prejudiced attitudes, followed by acts of prejudice, discrimination, violence, and then genocide. And what makes this so neat is that during the lesson, I can click on one of these individuals who are eyewitnesses to the Holocaust, and they'll give a 45-second to about a minute and a half excerpt. They'll tell their story a little bit. And then I ask the students, where does their story fit in on the pyramid? And it's pretty easy. They say, well, that's discrimination, or that's violence, or that's genocide. Then I ask them, the four rescuers you saw yesterday that helped save Jews, where did they fit in? Where was their place on this pyramid? And they go, well, Mr. Howard, that's obvious. It's either violence or genocide. Then I ask them, okay, here comes the tough question. Where can you make a difference? In your life, where can you make a difference? On the playground, in your club sports, wherever you hang out with your friends. And once again, Mr. Howard, you're not making this difficult. It's obvious. We can make a difference on the bottom. And if we don't have a bottom, we don't have a top. It's that simple. So we teach them that, you know what, you play on the playground, you stay, and your friend, let's talk about that minority again, your group of friends start making racial epithets or putting down people for their gender or their sexual preference or whatever it is, you just simply say to them, that's not cool, don't do it around me. Chances are, they're not going to do it around you anymore. And if enough of you say that, a couple of your friends, they're not saying that anymore. You can knock it out in the bottom. It's not that hard. So that's where I leave them with this lesson, and it seems like they're really, the response I got was amazing. They really, I mean, it's one of those lessons where kids come up to you afterwards and they thank you. And that's always a good thing. You're like, oh, wow, why didn't they thank me yesterday, though, or last week? Okay, I guess not every day is a home run. But, so it really worked out wonderfully. And I just want to say, I hope you enjoyed my little spiel up here. Keep in mind, I was only one person. I did mention there are 3 other people from San Diego who went into the workshop. There are, I think, 6 people from Los Angeles, roughly. And everybody took a different direction. Because again, there's over 100,000 hours of testimony. Everybody took a different direction. One teacher teaches psychology. So he looked at the psychological implications of what happens years after the trauma that the people went through. And they're just, it's such an array of directions that they went into. Where do we go from here? Okay, where do we go from here? This is not all of, this lesson is available online, but the testimonies themselves, 100,000 hours, they're only available in some universities around the country. One of them being UC San Diego. Everybody in here, you have a right to go to UC San Diego and look through the testimonies. Okay? They have workshops on a regular basis, and they would love to have any of you in there to look around. Another thing that's occurring is the Shoah Foundation, they're working very, very diligently right now to get as many of these online as possible, like through YouTube. Actually, how many, 1,000 on YouTube? No, not yet.
There's 100 on YouTube, there'll be 1,000 by the end of the year in a special application called Eyewitness.
And that special application called Eyewitness will allow teachers, because right now, again, you can't, it's not in every town. And for teachers, we need to make this as easy as possible. And so what the Eyewitness is doing will allow teachers to look at, put in a key term, something thematic, and however many testimonies that word was said will come up. Then the application will allow people to edit. Because, you know, we want to keep the clips short, and you can't expect teachers to go through, I mean, if there's 1,000 testimonies online and they range between 2 hours and some of them are 6 hours, that's a lot. So they're working in the direction to make it very teacher friendly. And the goal is to for us educators to spread the word. I look forward to, once it gets online, to visit different teaching conferences in San Diego and throughout the state to share this with other educators. So it'll be available to them, because once again, I hope I did a good job today in bringing across how valuable these clips are. I mean, if you can't have a survivor come into your classroom, I think this is the next best thing. And I am going to leave you with some homework tonight. Okay? If you're unaware, a couple days ago was Yom HaShoah. That is Holocaust Remembrance Day. And I think it's pretty neat that I'm doing this today. I just want you to reflect with another person tonight. Reflect with them and think. First of all, think about the people who lost their lives in the Holocaust. Think about the people who survived the Holocaust. Reflect on the people who helped rescue people who were being persecuted in the Holocaust. Think about the people who we never heard about who died because they attempted to help. They attempted to speak up. And then don't only think about the Holocaust, think about those people who did the right thing throughout history. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier, whether it was the Freedom Riders during the 60s, or whether it's the young boys in Philadelphia, Mississippi, the civil rights boys who were trying to get the vote to African Americans, or whether it's in Rwanda or Bosnia or wherever. There's just where there's been darkness, there have been people who have tried their best to bring the light. So think of them, and then also reflect for yourself. Think about where do you fit in? You think you could do the right thing? Right thing's usually the harder thing to do. So just spend a few minutes and talk it out and just think about it a little bit.